ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। ॐ श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ श्रीमेधादक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्धदामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्ख्यपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः। ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तन्न विदुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Om. So, namaste once again, everyone.
Namaste, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Namaskaram,
Namaste,
namaskaram.
Guruji.
Namaste. So, we are seeing the 13th mantra. Tribhir gunamayair bhavaihi yebhis sarvamidam jagat mohitam nabhijanati mamebhyah paramavyayam. We have seen the Anvaya and also the word meanings of the shloka in the last class. That is my recollection. Correct me if I am wrong. And I also started giving you the essence of this verse.
Yes.
Correct. Thank you. And as I said, this is a very, very important verse because this gives the diagnosis of all our mental problems. And as we all know, without proper diagnosis, it is not possible to administer the right medicine. When it comes to our physical health, and more importantly, mental health, diagnosis is very, very important if the treatment is to be successful. And in fact, even though this is a fundamental principle of all treatments, the greatest wonder is we have been doing exactly opposite only. We have never really analyzed why sorrow comes in our life. And most of us, we are not interested in this analysis also. So without analyzing, we keep on trying one solution or the other. One thing is accepted by everybody. Nobody wants to be sorrowful. Nobody wants to be grief-stricken. But Why this is all happening? Why I have this periods of sorrow? We don't analyze. But then what we do, we want to get rid of it. We want to get rid of our grief. We want to get rid of our sorrow. We want to be happy. So we keep on trying one solution or the other. So first I thought education will give me happiness. For some time it was true. Then it started becoming a burden. Thereafter I thought getting a job will give me happiness. So after I got a job, parents say, now you should get settled in life. Settled means what? Get unsettled from relatively happy bachelor life and get settled means get married. They say you will be very happy after marriage. And then after marriage, I thought I will be happy. And for a brief period, of course, I am happy. Because the marriage brings in a certain kind of companionship, the joys of the married life. Then soon thereafter, I discover the other side of the married life. Because both the partners have to make a lot of adjustments, a lot of sacrifices, which they find it difficult to do. So what happens? Tension brews. Each one tries to change the habits, the attitude, the behavior of the other to suit one's own raga and dvesha. And that leads to more stress. So then we have a problem. Then the parents say, no, no, we know what is the problem. You have children. That will solve all the problems. And you both will become happy again. So children are born. And we discover that it is a beginning of a new type of struggle. No sleep at night. Both fighting with each other. You take care of the baby. I take care of the baby. I have got office tomorrow early morning. I have to go. So I want to sleep. So new types of struggles start. Then the children grow up and we feel that, okay, if I educate my child very well, I will be happy. Same things follows. Then their marriage, we will settle. All this keep happening. But insofar as my happiness is concerned, nothing happens except that I now have more family members struggling in this samsara, suffering from this bhava roga. All along, the suffering is not as much physical as emotional, psychological. And in and through all these, we do not know why we have mental problems, depression, anxiety, fear, sorrow, irritation, anger, jealousy. All this we don't know because we are trying to treat this disease called Bhavaroga without diagnosis. And what is the diagnosis? That Krishna gives in this verse. So I will briefly deal with the diagnosis. Then we will go to the verse. Basically, Krishna points out that the whole universe is a mixture of two things. Para Prakriti and Apara Prakriti of Ishvara. Para Prakriti happens to be, I hope you remember all this. We have discussed this in previous classes. Chetana Nirguna Nirvikara Tattva is Para Prakriti. It is the consciousness principle which is without any properties or qualities, without any change. It is changeless, formless, propertyless consciousness. That is para prakriti. And so what is apara prakriti? Achetana, saguna, savikara tattvam is apara prakriti. Changing properties or gunas or attributed matter principle is apara prakriti. Now, since Apara Prakriti has got all the properties, it is very much perceptible to our sense organs. And here properties means what? Sound, form, smell, taste, touch. All these things are there. Shabda, sparsha, rupa, rasa, gandha. Therefore, Apara Prakriti is visible to our sense organs. Whereas Para Prakriti, being without all these qualities like Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, etc., it is invisible, formless principle. So one is invisible, the other is visible. And when there is a mixture of visible and invisible principles, we are always attracted to what? To the visible changing Apara Prakriti alone. And therefore, Krishna says we are distracted by Apara Prakriti to such an extent that we lose sight of Para Prakriti, the highest nature. Like, I gave the example some classes ago, we are attracted to, or rather, I would say, distracted by the hand or its motion, and all the other, qualities of the hand. But we fail to perceive the light principle, which is very much present. That we forget always. If you explain, they will say, yeah, yes, it is there. But otherwise, automatically, that thought does not come that this is a hand and there is also a light principle because of which I am actually able to see the hand. That we forget. Even while watching a movie, in a cinema hall, we fail to recognize the presence of the white screen. Initially, we enter the cinema hall, we see the white screen. Now we know. So it is not that we are unaware. We are aware of the white screen. But once the movie starts, what happens? We just totally ignore the presence of the white screen. We are so engrossed, we are so distracted by the characters, the movie, the songs, and the drama, etc., taking place. We fail to recognize the presence of the white screen. And in fact, without which we cannot watch the movie itself. The screen is the motionless substratum. But once the movie is on, you are so much absorbed in the changing characters, changing scenes, that you lose sight of the changeless screen. Similarly, you miss the Para Prakriti. And Krishna says, once you miss the Para Prakriti, you are in trouble. Therefore, our basic problem is losing sight of Para Prakriti. Para Prakriti Ajnanameva Samsarasya Karanam. And this is what Krishna is going to say in this verse. So, as I said earlier, Krishna is diagnosing the disease called samsara. And then he suggests a remedy also in the next verse. And therefore, these two verses are very, very important. This 13th verse is the diagnosis, and the 14th verse is the medication. You can call it tablet, injection, whatever you want to call, you call. So therefore, the problem is generally we miss the para prakriti, the higher nature, because all our organs are meant to perceive and register the changing object with properties. And in fact, in Katha Upanishad, there is a mantra. And there also, Paranchikani Vatranat Swayambhu. There also, the Upanishad is blaming Bhagavan for that. Bhagavan has made all these organs, sense organs, outgoing. And that is why we are missing the what is there inside our real nature. So, to some extent, we human beings can have some excuse. It is not my fault. Bhagavan has made me like this. So that is why, I am unable to perceive the Paraprakriti. And moreover, of course, we know Paraprakriti doesn't have all these qualities, Sabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, etc. We cannot perceive a Nirguna object with our sense organs. And not only that, we do not perceive. All right, okay, you say I do not perceive, but somebody comes and tells you there is a para prakriti, which is the higher nature, which is your true nature. Most people do not even attempt to know the para prakriti. They have no interest because they are all kept busy always by this tempting, wonderful, beautiful, attractive apara prakriti, maya. They are totally, what is the maya pervades them, their total attention. Their mind is full of this maya. And that is why Krishna is later on going to call this apara prakriti as a mohini. And this is how this problem is symbolically presented in the Puranic story. How Mohini came and all the asuras were attracted by Mohini. The word Mohini itself is derived from moha, delusion, muh dhatu. And because they were attracted by Mohini, what did the asuras lose? They lost Amritam. And Amritam symbolizes the knowledge of Para Prakriti and Moksha. And both we miss. Because the wonderful Mohini called Apara Prakriti keeps us busy all the time. I am always preoccupied with this changing universe, sound, color, form, smell, taste. If I am not preoccupied with this universe, I am preoccupied with my own body. I keep on decorating my body. Oh my God, I've lost some hair, so I should get a wig, or I should go for hair transplant. Oh, no, I have seen the description of the eyebrows, especially females, like, it should be like the bow, that the top portion of the bow. But it is not like that. So I rush to a parlor and then get all my, eyebrows done. So many, bothered about the body so much. Books and books and books are written about that. How to maintain the hair. In fact, we are more bothered about what is outside the head rather than what is inside the head. And that is why, there are so many parlors and the entire, I would call it, this cosmetic industry runs because of this apara prakriti. Therefore, hair care, skin care, nail care, this care, that care. You're not happy with your nails, so now that artificial nails come, looks very nice. You wear it, go to parties, so people will say, oh, so beautiful nails you have got. All this apara prakriti is maya. So all this keeps us eternally busy. So this is one angle. Otherwise, what happens? The thoughts in the mind, the emotions, the feelings, which also belong to apara prakriti. Continuous flow of thought about our relations, our friends, what so and so said in the morning, how I was hurt by that. So thus the world and the body and the mind are also wonderfully attractive, that a person is carried away by them. And because of this preoccupation, he is never interested in para prakriti. Not only understanding that there is something called para prakriti, even knowing what is para prakriti. And therefore, Krishna tells in the 13th verse, Tribihi gunamayehi bhavaihi idam sarvam jagat mohitam. So, because of the apara prakriti endowed with tribihi gunamayehi, tribihi gunaha. Gunamayehi means endowed with guna. Attracted either by sattva guna or rajo guna or tamo guna. And all these represent not only the external objects. According to Shankaracharya, in his Bhashyam, he writes, Bhava represents emotions also. That is why Tribihi Gunamayehi Bhavaihi it is said. So both physical as well as emotions. And because of that, Idam Sarvam Jagat, 99.99% of the world, except for very rare ones. As Kathopanishad describes, Kaschid Viraha Pratyagatman Aikshat Avritta Chakshuhu Amritatvam Paranchikani Yatridat Swayambhuhu Tasmat Parang Pashyati Nantaratman. Kaschid Dhiraha, it says, some rare person, some wise person, he is only able to appreciate the para prakriti, know para prakriti, abide in that para prakriti. That is most important. Once you abide in the para prakriti, apara prakriti, you will just ignore. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter my eyebrows are bushy, no problem. Because they are all maya, mithya, only an appearance. And therefore, Krishna says Sarvam Jagat. So here it means Sarvam Jagat means all the people in the world, the whole humanity. Because only human beings have the faculty to study. Other animals and plants and all cannot get to know para prakriti at all. So even human beings, they do not have the time or the inner leisure to think in those lines. And what do these human beings do their whole life? As Shankaracharya says in Bhajagovindam, Balastavati Krida Shaktaha, Tarunastavati Taruni Shaktaha, Vriddhastavati Chinta Shaktaha, Parame Brahmani Kopi Na Shaktaha. Saktaha. So what do you do when you are a child? Playful attitude. You become a teenager. Then you have got own teenage activities, busy with that. Become old, worried. My God, I've got this disease, I've got that disease. I need to take medicines. What will happen if I suddenly die? What will happen to my family? What will happen to my wife? Nothing. Parame Brahmani Kopina Sakta hai. Nobody even thinks of that Parabrahma. And therefore, Mohitam, deluded. We are all deluded because of this Apara Prakriti. And therefore, what happens? Mam ebhyah param avyayam na abhijanati. They do not come to know. Abhijanati means na abhijanati, do not come to know. They do not even attempt to know Mam, me. Which me? The higher me, the superior me. Avyayah param. The gunabhyah param. Nirgunam. So nirgunam mam para prakriti rupam mam chaitanya rupam mam and avyayam, which is never subject to change, which is shashwatam. These people do not know. Now somebody may ask, my father, my grandfather, everybody did not know para prakriti. They all lived very well, happily, and then they died also. So what is the harm if I do not know para prakriti? What is the harm? In fact, I find apara prakriti so wonderful, and it is capable of providing everything to me or for me. So I can manage my life with the help of apara prakriti itself. Why at all should I waste my precious time and effort and at least 1 or 2, 3 hours every week in the pursuit of this para prakriti? For that, the Shastra answers that you should discover, first of all, that apara prakriti cannot give some of our basic needs of our life. Apara prakriti can never give some of the fundamental needs of our life. Because the first thing that everyone looks for in life is purnatvam, fulfillment, completeness. That is why all our desires are what? Our desires are all expressions of incompleteness, a feeling of incompleteness. I am incomplete without a wife. I am incomplete without an husband. I am incomplete without a car. I am incomplete without a house. These are all that. There's a yearning for this, for that. Ultimately, underlying reason is we are always looking for fulfillment, purnatvam. And apara prakriti cannot give because everything within apara prakriti is finite in nature, being bound by time and space. And if purnatvam is not there, shanti will not be there, peace of mind will not be there, fulfillment in life will never come because fulfillment and peace go with purnatvam. And Shastra points out that para prakriti alone has got the purnatvam. Anything within apara prakriti happens to be finite, and therefore there will be constant sense of apurnatvam as long as you hold on to apara prakriti only. So if you want shanti and peace, purnatvam, fulfillment, you have to necessarily go to para prakriti alone. So that is point number one. The second thing is everything that obtains in apara prakriti is in a constant flux. It is subject to time and therefore nothing is shashwatam in apara prakriti. And since shashwatam means permanent, nothing is permanent in apara prakriti. And therefore, if you hold on to anything in apara prakriti, after some time it is bound to go away. It will end, it will disappear. And since everything within apara prakriti will end, it can never give you security. Nothing in apara prakriti can give you security because whatever you hold on to or is attached to by time attached to is attacked by time. And again, as Shankara points out in Bhajagovindam, Ma kuru dhanajana yauvana garvam harati nimeshat kalaha sarvam maya mayam idam akhilam hitva brahmapadam tvam pravisha vidhitva. Just because you have got money, dhanam, janam, you have got people around you. You are young. You are occupying a higher post now. He said, do not have garvam. Do not become very proud or arrogant because of that. Because harati nimeshat kalaha sarvam. within a minute, everything can be wiped out. And therefore, we have to appreciate one thing. What a human being wants is something changeless as an anchor in his life. We want something permanent to hold on to. Of course, once you have got something permanent to hold on to, holding on to that something permanent, we can play with the impermanent, no problem with that. For example, in fact, Swami Paramatmanandaji gives a very good example. You go to Haridwar or Rishikesh. Haridwar is a better example because that is where the water comes and hits the plain. Very Ganges, the flow of Ganges, the current you should see in Haridwar. And you want to take a dip in the gushing river Ganga. Haridwar, you go and you want to take a dip. In fact, it is very enjoyable and refreshing. Those who have actually gone and taken a dip, a bath in Ganga, they will know. Those who don't are missing something in life. Very enjoyable. Initially, it will be very cold water, but once you have had the dip and done a bath, the freshness, the wholesomeness of the water, will refresh you. So if you want to dip in that river and enjoy, nothing wrong with that. But the first thing that you should look for is something to hold on to. And that is why if you go and see on the river banks, they have kept, they have put, very strong chains, metal chains. So people, even if you know swimming very well, the current of the water is so much that you will be easily washed away. Miles and miles will be washed away. And therefore, they advise whoever is trying to get into the water, hold on to the metal chain. And then you can go on dipping, playing, enjoying, do whatever you want. But make sure that you are holding on to the chain. And the reason you are boldly able to have deep dips in the water and enjoy is because you are holding on to the chain. Because of the faith, you have got the faith that in that chain, that if you hold on to it, it will save you from being carried away by the strong currents of the Ganga river. So in a flowing river, you require a non-flowing chain. And if you want hundreds of changing relationship, at least you require one changeless relationship. So that all other relationships continue or not, at least you can hold on to that one relationship. And therefore, human mind requires something permanent. And the unfortunate thing is, we try to stick to something belonging to Apara Prakriti and expect that to be permanent. And the tragedy strikes at the most unexpected moment. What we thought as permanent gives away. And suddenly, we feel the ground underneath is disappearing. Imagine, no, that is what happens in mountaineering. Because they have got a base camp and then they climb and all that. They have all got tents. It would have been fixed very properly, deeply driven, tied with rope. Everything is fine. But what happens? Morning, they wake up somewhere. The whole chunk, the whole area itself will break and fall. What do you do? Therefore, we require something Shashwatam to hold on to. And that Shashwata Vastu is called Bhagavan, especially the higher aspect, the Para Prakriti. And if we have got that chain called the Lord, then the worldly life is enjoyable. You can repeatedly take a dip But you should not expect anything to be permanent, because like the flowing river of the Ganges, everything, every experience in the Apara Prakriti also keeps flowing. Nothing is permanent, and nothing permanent can be expected also from Apara Prakriti. But then, if you are holding on to the chain, let anything go away. I know. I have got the chain called Bhagavan, Ishvara. I am holding on to that. And Krishna says this is one fact the unintelligent people miss, because of which they suffer terribly. And therefore he says Mohitam, deluded, they expect Shashwatam from Ashashwatam. This is the trouble with humanity. This is the diagnosis of the problem. And therefore, what is the solution? Simple. Do not hold on to Apara Prakriti. Hold on to Para Prakriti. You need not renounce Apara Prakriti. You use Apara Prakriti for playing around to satisfy all your emotional needs of happiness, joy. But use Para Prakriti for your security. Because if there are only chains and no water, you cannot take a dip, isn't it? So you require both. The real enjoyment is dipping in the water, and the security is provided by the chain. So you require both. Hold on to the chain and go on dipping. So without Apara Prakriti, even mere Para Prakriti will be boring. And therefore, there should be river, but there should be chain also. The flowing river should have a firmly and permanently fixed chain to hold on when you play around in gushing waters. Similarly, Apara Prakriti is the river, Para Prakriti is the chain. Hold on to that and play with Apara Prakriti, then it can never threaten you. So the solution he is going to give in the next sloka. We will read the next sloka. Okay. Daivi hesha gunamaye mama maya duratyaya mame vaye prabadhyante maya metam taranti te. So the Anvaya of this sloka is Esha Daivi Maya Mama Gunamayihi Duratyaya Evate ye Prabadhyante Mam Etam Mayam Taranti. So Esha Daivi Maya, this divine Maya, Mama of mine, Gunamayi, which consists of three gunas. He Duratyaya is indeed difficult to cross over. Evate, only those people, ye prabadhyante, who surrender mam to me, taranti, cross over, etam mayam, this maya. So, this divine maya of mine, which consists of three gunas, is indeed difficult to cross over. Only those people who surrender to me cross over this maya. In fact, in this context, Swami Paramahansa in his talks narrates an experience of his, which he had during a trip to Badri, Kedar, etc. Though, in fact, I also had a similar experience during my trip to Vaishno Devi. But Swamiji's experience is more dramatic, so I will share that experience. As this Badri Kedar range of mountains, one has to cross many mountains, and there would be a path, like a hiking trails, which will be very steep. So there are two ways to, cross the mountain. One is you go around. There will be a path. You can go around the mountain, go round, then cross all the mountains. Or you can actually take that hiking trail path, which is very steep, provided you are experienced in that. And normally what happens, you would have gone around, because so many series of mountains are there. what will happen? After 2, 3 rounds, you will feel, oh, this is a shortcut, let me try to climb this hiking trail so that I can reach faster. So one may be tempted to take the hiking trail and climb. By thereby, you would have saved a lot of distance and also time. But the most dangerous thing is the hills appear very small. But if you try to climb, then you realize how big they are. So it seems Swamiji was going in the front with a group of people, and he thought that before other people came, he can take the hiking trail and reach ahead of others. So he says that he found that hiking trail was going on, and suddenly that he took the hiking trail, and that hiking trail was also not short. It was also going on and on. Suddenly he slipped. And when he slipped, he started coming down because it was a slope. And naturally, whenever somebody is slipping like this, we'll try to get hold of something. And also he says he tried to put his one leg on some stone or some tree stump to arrest the fall. But there was nothing except dry leaves. And therefore, not only there was nothing to hold on to, but also the dry leaves were slippery also. So he had a free fall, not knowing where it was going to end. He says he found himself on all the fours, coming down helplessly, very fast also. But he says, thank God, after a distance, he found a half broken tree, which was deep rooted, and the stump was jutting out from the ground. So, fortunately, he could hold on to the stump with one hand and arrest the free fall. He says, later on, of course, recalling that incident, it was all a laughing matter for everyone. And it seems that, the Swami did not hear, but other people told that you are being warned by one mountain tribal not to take this hiking trail. You didn't hear that or what? You are told not to engage in such dangerous misadventures. So Swamiji says that what saved him was something which was motionless. And he compares the whole experience to samsara. Beautiful example. Whatever we hold on to are the slippery, dry leaves, and we think that it is Shashwatam. What is relatively, of course, in the case of this example, even the stump of the tree is relatively Shashwatam, stump of that broken tree. But that is what ultimately saved Swami. So similarly, Krishna says here that in this free falling samsara, the only support is me alone. So before the tragedy strikes, better hold on to me. That is the solution he gives here. Esha Maya, this apara prakriti, which is saguna savikara savikalpa apara prakriti which is Maya. And this Maya is capable of deluding the human mind, tempting the human mind, taking the mind away from the Lord. People will think, why should there be religion? Why should there be God? We can manage everything by ourselves. This arrogance comes because things are going nicely now. This attitude comes because of Maya, which is Mohini, which deludes by turning the mind away from Para Prakriti to Apara Prakriti. And not only this Maya is Duratyaya, very difficult to cross over. It is so powerful a deluding principle that we can never transcend that by our own intellect. It is superhuman. It cannot be ordinarily crossed over because we do not even know that we are deluded. First of all, you must know that you are deluded and then only attempt to cross over. And therefore, Duratyaya means it cannot be easily conquered. Why? Because Gunamayi. Because it has got three gunas to trap. Either Tamo guna will trap you, or Rajo guna will trap you, or Sattva guna will also trap you. So you are caught in one trap or the other. Everybody will get caught. How these gunas trap a person, we will actually discuss when we come to the 14th chapter. Because there Krishna deals with these three gunas very detailed manner. I don't want to go into details here for two reasons. One, it will distract us from the subject matter what we are discussing. And second thing is, it will take more time. We will be, there will be a going away from the topic. Therefore, Gunamayi. And where is that Apara Prakriti located? He says, Daivi. It is located in me only. It belongs to me, the Para Prakriti. The only one upon which the Apara Prakriti is dependent is Para Prakriti. So it belongs to me, the higher Lord. And Krishna offers the solution for conquering Apara Prakriti. He says the only solution is Ye Prabadhyante Mam. Those people who surrender to me, who take shelter in me humbly, without being arrogant, those who humbly understand samsara and realize that we cannot independently cross and we require Ishwara Kripa, and that Ishwara alone will give Guru, and Guru will give you the Shastram, and you hold on to the Shastram, the teaching which is given by me alone, says Krishna. So from teacher to the teaching and the Shastra will hand over to you yourself. You will discover that security ultimately in yourselves. But to start with, you have to depend upon God alone. And therefore, Mam eva te ye prabadhyante. Those who surrender to me, those who practice bhakti, they etam mayam taranti. So they alone will cross over this maya. Bhaktas alone will cross over this maya. So therefore, what is the solution? Bhakti is the solution, which is otherwise called praptihi, otherwise called sharanagatihi. All these words are synonyms. Bhakti, praptihi, sharanagatihi, etc. Then naturally, the next question will be, what exactly is this bhakti? Because many times this question has come up in our class also. So what is bhakti? Krishna himself will clarify later. So we will see the details then. And Krishna there, of course, I'll say briefly, will point out that bhakti has to go through three stages. In the initial level of bhakti, I use the Lord as a means for worldly ends, for my artha, kama, dharma, purusharthas. This is the lowest form of bhakti called manda bhakti, where God is the means, worldly things are the end. Oh Bhagavan, go to the temple. Hey Bhagavan, please give me this, please give me that. Save me from all the problems of the world, which I have myself created during my previous janmas because of all the adharmic karyams that I have done and which I am now facing. But then please save me from all those things. See the logic of the human mind. They want Bhagavan to step in every stage. Anyway, so this is Manda Bhakti. Then gradually that Bhakti has to evolve and become more and more mature. The Manda Bhakti should give way to Madhyama Bhakti, in which the Lord is no more a means for worldly end, but God is the end in itself. Because I have discovered the limitations of this world, limitations of all these things. So I have now realized God is the only worthwhile end to have. God is the only Paramam Padam. And that is when a person goes from world dependence to God dependence. Because I know nothing in the world is dependable. When I discover that, God becomes the goal of my life, which is called Madhyama Bhakti. And then comes the final level of Bhakti, Uttama Bhakti, where God is neither the means nor the end. God is I myself, because means is also different from me, end is also different from me. And God is neither the means nor the end. Ultimately, Krishna will tell in the 18th chapter, Ishwara sarva bhutanam hriddeshe arjuna tishtati, the real Lord that you are seeking is never away from you, and that is me alone. So these three levels of bhakti, which one has to go through, and only when a person comes to Uttama Bhakti, one will get liberation or total freedom or moksha. But we have to start with Manda Bhakti, graduate to Madhyama Bhakti, and culminate in Uttama Bhakti. And in Uttama Bhakti, we will get liberation or moksha. And it is that bhakti that is pointed out here in the next sloka. Namam dushkritino mooda hai prabhadyante na radhama hai mayaya prahrita jnana hai asuram bhavamashrita hai. So the anvaya of this sloka is dushkritina hai nara adhama hai अपहृत ज्ञाना है मायया मूढ़ा है आश्रिता है आसुरम भावम न प्रबध्यन्ते माम. Comes down heavily on people who are totally engrossed in apara prakriti. Dushkritina hai, the vicious. Naradhama hai means the mean people. Apahrita jnana hai, who are deprived of their discrimination, power of discrimination, faculty of discrimination. Mayaya, by Maya. Mooda hai, who are deluded. Ashrita hai, and who have taken Asuram Bhavam, to demonic nature. Na prabhadyante, do not surrender Mam to me. So the vicious, mean people who are deprived of their discrimination by Maya, who are deluded, and who have taken to demonic nature, do not surrender to me. So here Krishna points out that many people do not take recourse to bhakti sadhana. In fact, many of them don't enter even to the manda bhakti stage. And the reason is, what? They don't have the punya. Even to come to bhakti, they require some purva janma punya. In fact, in Saundarya Lahari, Shankaracharya says, Akrita punya hai katham prabhavati. If required punyam is not there, first thing is he will not be born in a culture which talks about moksha. He will be born in a materialistic culture where the whole life will be artha kama pradhana. And therefore, I should have sufficient punyam to first to be born as a human being. That itself requires a lot of punyam. And that also in a culture which talks about the four purusharthas. Now, most of the other cultures talk only about two, artha and kama. Some of them, of course, speak about dharma also, but none of them talk about moksha. And not only that, even if born in this culture, I should get interested in moksha, which is again extremely rare. As Viveka Chudamani students saw, Shankaracharya says, Durlabam Tayamevaitat Devanugraha Hetukam Manushyatvam Mumukshutvam Mahapurusha Samshraya. So, first of all, to be born as a human being, then getting a interest in moksha, and for that purpose, getting a guru to guide you through the Shastra, Mahapurusha Samshraya. All these you get by Deva Nugraha Hetukam, Deva Nugraham, by Punya. Because Deva Anugraha also you will get only if you have got Punya. Isn't it? You go to US for to Walmart or something for shopping, you will get the things there only if you have got either dollar to pay or a credit card which can be used for payment in dollars. You can't take your rupee and say, please accept this and give me all the things. Similarly, you must have the punyam currency with you. Then only even Bhagavan will say, okay, use this punyam currency. I will give, using this punyam currency, I will give you human birth. So all these things I require punyam, which I can get only by Deva Anugraham. So Krishna says, many people do not have that punyam to come to this stage. And therefore, dushkritinaha. There are many who do not have the punyam. They may have sufficient punyam to be born as a human being, but not sufficient punyam to come to Bhagavan or Ishvara or the Shastra. Therefore, dushkritinaha means papinaha, papavantaha. And because of that, what do they do? Mayaya apahrita jnana. They are deluded by Maya, which keeps them busy in the pursuit of artha and kama, money, entertainment. Else, how do you account for so many channels in the TV? You know, I mean, mind-boggling numbers. 24 hours movie channels. Whole day you can sit before the TV and keep on watching one program or the other, one movie or the other. And if you are retired, no question. All the time in the world you have got. Other people, at least they have got other chores, no, like going to office and things like that. So most people, Mayaya apahrita jnana hai. Totally drowned in artha, kama, entertainment, etc. And this is the trick of Maya. Maya keeps you busy and it will never allow you to come in near any Mahatma, anywhere near the Shastra, Satsanga, lectures like this. There will be no interest at all. That is the glory of Maya. So, Mayaya apahrita jnana hai. Their discriminating power, their viveka is robbed away by Maya. And Maya means what? Apara Prakriti. Because if they had discrimination, a little bit of discrimination, they can easily discern that all these things are perishable, whatever they are, all this entire Apara Prakriti, this Artha Kama Pradhana Apara Prakriti is perishable because the person has seen so many people losing money, losing close family members, losing close relatives, properties, wealth being destroyed by natural disasters, including wildfires like what is now happening in the US, or tsunamis, or massive earthquakes. And the lesson to be learned, which this person has not learned, is that everything is impermanent, everything is perishable. But he still believes the opposite, runs behind them. And that is the beauty of the illusion, rather I would call it delusion, created by Maya. So Mayaya apahrita jnana hai. And then Krishna says such people are mooda hai, utterly deluded. which we will continue in the next class. Okay. We'll say the prayers. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavada hai everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
There
you,
are many
Guruji.
absentees today because they all
Namaskaram.
want to attend the weekend retreat of my Guru Bhai Jayakumar in Anakatti Ashram. So they are all there.
So
They
you,
sent a message to me.
Thank you.
Hi, sir.
Namaste, Guruji. Thank you.
Namaste. Oh, thanks. You are able to make it. Good.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
So, any questions?
yes, Guruji, I have a question. Krishnan here.
Yes. Yes, Krishna.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram. Hope
Namaskaram.
your dinner is lined up. Oh.
No, that's okay. Today I'm going to eat at home only, not going down.
Thank you very much, Guruji. Namaskaram.
Hari Om. Thank you. So I'm flexible.
Yeah, I have this
Yeah, tell
question
me.
regarding this. I think very well explained on Paraprakati and Aparaprakati. I have somebody who's a scientist, and he's devoted to his scientific knowledge. He has attained very good positions, acclaimed worldwide, right from FRS and in government positions and all that, top positions in the scientific world. And he has, by nature, he has no great attachment to money or this, although he was the first one to win the Infosys Award and all that. But he doesn't believe in God. Only say he is an atheist. But when his father or mother, all great people, he passed away. He did not say, I do not want to do. So he did all the whatever karma has to be done. He did it, but without any attachment to saying any belief. But I will do it because my father believed it and my mother believed it, and this is this. But he is not, he doesn't believe in God and know that, I don't know whether I have to use the word bhakti. His bhakti is all towards his profession and his science, and he's busy and no grade and very simple life. No vice, nothing, very, very simple life. 24/7, he is attached to only this. Now, the thought comes to me now, but he has no bhakti. Now, how do I define this? Because he is not holding on to the bhakti, the paraprakriti. He is not holding on to it, but he has been successful. He has been in his profession, leads a very simple life. So, but he doesn't believe in God. Now, there seems to be a contradiction.
But from all you say, it seems that he is a very, very happy person. He has never suffered any grief, any sorrow in his life, and continuously to be very, very happy and peaceful in life. Is that true?
Yes, he is.
That's what you have seen, right?
Yes.
Have you asked him, have you ever faced any grief in your life? Have you ever felt sorry for something? I mean, I cannot believe that a person who has got all these things, qualifications and things like that, there might have been an occasion where he was denied a promotion in the office. There might have been an occasion when his wife, if he's married, of course, I assume.
Yes, he is married.
Said something which hurt him.
Probably very, very internal, because I know him from my childhood and been growing in part of my family. Uh, See, I have never seen him disappointed, but maybe inside he may be having, I do not know, because that kind of a conversation also doesn't happen.
Yeah. Because,
At least outwardly,
without any emotional problem, if there is a human being, then he is not a human being.
Hmm.
Where the basic definition of a human being is that you have this manaha, you have got this buddhi, and manaha will be what? We have seen Tattva Bodha,
Yes.
Samshayam, Samshayatmakam manaha, always having some doubt. Is this the right way? Because you say he's a scientist. He must have performed hundreds of experiments.
Hmm.
Is it possible that every experiment of his was very successful? Every first time he did one experiment, he was successful.
No.
No. So when
no.
one experiment he did, when he did not succeed, was he say, "Oh, very good, okay, let me keep on trying. I'm not going to be unhappy because of this."
Yeah, outwardly it appears like that. That
Outwardly it appears.
he is not affected by either success or this. At least he exhibits that kind of a personality.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. He exhibits that kind of a personality. I accept. But is that the correct real personality? That we do not. We don't have the information of that, isn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, the point is here, as per Krishna says, to come to bhakti, you must have punya.
Hmm.
Basically, he is a person who is now totally engrossed in artha and kama pursuits.
Hmm.
Correct?
Yes.
Even dharma pursuit he is not involved in.
Hmm.
So that person is what? He may be very successful in artha kama pursuit, but that is not going to be the final thing for any jiva.
Hmm.
Any jiva will have to ultimately come. Why would this person? There are so many people like this. In fact, Puja Swamiji used to narrate one story that one person came to him
Hmm.
and asked him why I require all this Vedanta. I'm a very happy person. No, I've got family and everything, very well settled family. Enough money I have earned during my life. Why I should have come to God, bhakti, and this thing and all that. So Puja Swamiji says, keep when somebody comes to you like this with this kind of a statement, what you should do is keep talking to him, keep asking him questions. So Puja Swamiji said, I also started, asking him where your children is, where your, your parents, where they lived, etc., etc. So many questions he asked. Then during the conversation, that fellow Swamiji says, he said, see, my children are all very well settled, but my daughter, she has no issues. There are no kids. So, but it's okay. I mean, they are very happy otherwise, I mean, if they want, they can adopt a child and all that and things like that. And so Pujya Swamiji said, see, this fellow is actually denial, living in denial. There is a problem. He is affected by that. But he is denying that that is a problem and he is not ready to accept that he is affected by that. So he says, you continue talking to him, he will come out with so many things, I could have made more money in my life if only I had been given my promotion at the time it was due for me. Somebody else was junior to me, he superseded me. Like that, when you probe into the life of everyone, right from childhood, if you probe, you will find appearances are deceptive. People may show themselves out to be all very this thing, simple and things like that and all. Maybe they are simple. Their lifestyle is simple. But if a person is, that means already he is already a jnani. if that is the case. The only two possibilities. Yes, either he is a dushkritina or he is a jnani. A jnani also will be like that. He will be unattached to everything that he is doing. He will have simple living, everything. So he must be a jnani. And not necessarily that in this janma only he gained that jnanam. In previous janmas, he would have gone through all these stages which Krishna is talking about. He would have come to Uttama Bhakti. And then he would have, like, Ramana Maharshi and things like that. People are there. So they come into this world for some purpose, for some little bit time. Like we have Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. He spent his time, being what is that, a priest in the temple. But he was a jnani already. So when he did not go to a guru and learn all this apara prakriti, para prakriti, and like that, like we are learning. So that is another possibility, that that person must be a jnani. That's why he is not attached to this. Even though he is actually enjoying the para prakriti, or I should call it enjoying within quotes, he is actually abiding in his para prakriti, in his real nature, which is peace. So nothing affects him. So he is already a jnani. So that is another possibility. So we can understand it both the ways.
Okay. So it's possible that that he has earned a lot of punyam, and
Yeah.
that punyam is giving him this benefit of taking this life very with a purpose. His purpose he has identified. His purpose is to give a kind of a scientific thing, and that's what his purpose. But whatever is to be done in terms of family, whether it's to look after his wife, child, or his parents, he does his karma, whatever, but without
Attachment.
the attachment to the God. So
So
that's
it
where
is not
I
that he
was.
has got the punyam. It
Mm,
is that he has actually reached in the previous birth
mm,
the state of a jnani.
mm,
So he's already got that mental peace.
mm,
Because of some little bit of unexhausted karma, he took this birth.
mm.
And that unexhausted, you can say that that residual punyam, because of this, he took this birth. And in this birth also, he has been, even though indulging in apara prakriti, he has been abiding in his para prakriti, in his peaceful nature. Right? You need
Yes.
not necessarily. Ultimately, what we are talking about, moksha and all that, this is not something, very rocket science. Moksha is what? Completely peaceful, not being troubled by anything in the world. That is moksha.
Yes.
So if he has already achieved that, that means he's already a jnani.
Mm.
So need not that he should exhibit that jnanam in this birth. He would have gained all that and come to this stage. And then, as I said, some residual karma was there for him to exhaust, for which he took this birth. And at the end of this birth, there will be no more rebirth for him.
Yeah, and he need not exhibit that he is
He need
believing
not.
in God or anything like that, but
No.
internally he might know. Yes.
Jnani will never exhibit anything that he is a bhaktam, he is a bhaktiman and things like that and all. Jnani will never. Because he knows that everything that he exhibits is only an appearance, it's all maya, it's all mithya. And he abides in satyam, the truth. That is the only thing. He abides in Brahman. So if you come across such people, you understand, they have to be highly respected people, because they are what we call, like born jnanis. They are like, prodigies kind of a thing. The born jnanis, irrespective of what they have been doing. This.
Yeah, yes, because all he has gotten, he is a Padma Shri award, he is an FRS, all that.
It
Uh,
couldn't affect him.
if it's all okay. It says, yeah, so what? And
So
he
what?
would
Yeah,
be simple
exactly.
dress, simple and simple
Exactly.
living. So
Exactly. Like Puja
yes.
Swamiji, he was given a Padma Shri or something.
Hmm.
He didn't go to receive it. He said, it's okay. It was their happiness. They gave Padma Shri. For me, Padma Shri and all, I don't need a certificate for. whatever I am doing. I am happy doing what I am doing. I learned Vedanta, I am teaching it. That's all.
Okay.
So,
Right.
like that also, we can have people. It's not necessarily that every jnani should wear saffron robes and then go and Rishikesh sit and all.
Yes, yes.
Not necessary at all. Jnani means what? A person who abides in himself, in his peace, in the happiness he finds within himself. He is not looking for happiness in any external objects, external experience. He is a jnani. That's the definition of jnani. So if you take the definition, then this person is a jnani whom you are describing.
Hmm.
That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
Okay, Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you. So any more question? Nothing is there, can close. Thank you, Hari Om. Then see you next week.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om, Hari Om.